compared to last few months, this video is different because we are watching XRP breaking through this pattern and giving you a daily close with that volume. The volume to price, that does tell us a story. This kind of projects to the upside as we zoom out. So there is a big story and target for XRP starting here. That's a great deal. But one thing which we all should consider is in last 6 to 7 months, what we have seen is that the time when XRP breaks higher, this guy, the Bitcoin guy, it slows down. It starts to drop. Now, as we see in the chart, we are making higher levels of support and we're bouncing. So we had this argument saying we are not breaking below this range. We're holding on to this. In the last video, we talked about that. Now we went up, we touched 72,500. That's actually a big deal because if you do look at what the price action is showing, and then you ask that question like, okay, what is my measured move? This is one of that stuff we talked about, right? We've been discussing about this from some time. Now you went up, you broke that pattern, your measured move is being completed. Remember, that's something you cannot neglect. So we had this thought process shared on a monthly chart and right now it stands true. What next is the real question. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. We're watching some of these assets breaking through. But yeah, we had our calls, we had the medium term, the micro and all. Now we are there. We hit those targets. We're breaking through that. So targets are there in place. Right now it's at 1.72. The Wyckoff was showing you 0.8, 1.2, and then somewhat like this. Now you're getting really close to this. So you literally did your target 1, target 2, and you're moving towards your target 3. Now, we do have our medium-term targets and others, but understand if you do see opportunities in this market, it's for you to seize them right now. As I'm saying, this won't last for a long time. We're now getting close to $3 trillion. Each day you're pushing towards that next level. As soon as you see the price pushing to the upside, keep an eye on this. It is going to show you what the market is about to do next. One of the primary things you need to look at is, yes, Bitcoin is pushing higher on a daily chart. Yes, that does tell you a great story. If you do look at Bitcoin on a daily chart, the volume increased compared to last few days. The price action did respect that. So on a daily, yes, the divergence is still present. It's still showing you that it is not having that amount of strength compared to what you had here in the 60-65 range. That's interesting to watch because the amount of volume which came in here and this doesn't match up. It's actually slowly declining. So that is true. Last time we've seen something like this was here. We had a fake out for sure. Then we had a corrective movement. So we don't know where that's going to start, but what you can understand from the chart is the fact that when you zoom out on a 3-day, you're not having that amount of volume. The buying volume is consistent. You're pushing that to the upside. That's good. On a 3-day, it agrees with the bullish side of things. So that shows you're not at the top. Whether I like it or not, it's not at the top. Now, if you zoom out on the weekly to monthly, now you're like, okay, we had some volume here. That volume candle for me raises some concern. I mean, purely look at just the price to volume and ask yourself, what do you see? So for me, the buying volume over last week increased compared to the last one. But if you look at the volatility, that didn't. So this candle was at 22% to the upside with this buying volume. Even after having increased level of buying volume, you did not really get much price movement. It should have been bigger than this, but it was smaller. So the weekly is now aligning up to a story that you're slowing down. And the monthly is showing you're already close to 77. Historically, you reach 80, 85, and that's where the top is. Now, we don't know where that's going to be. If there is going to be a corrective movement, you come back down, the RSI cools down for Bitcoin. But the story for XRP is getting even stronger now. We had this pattern. We've been talking about this for like a few months. We broke higher. We stayed there for some time. We respected that breakout. We broke higher. So you had the micro breakout. Then you had the macro breakout. Great. That's perfect. Now, with this breakout, what would be your measured move, right? So being conservative, you have one, 89, say 90%. You have another one, the median, which would be like a 50% move. So now what you're watching here is the breakout is at 0.62 and the median target should come somewhat close to 0.95. I would be happy by that itself. So you plot that, it's going to take you somewhat close to this range. What if it's the optimistic range, which you're going to reach? That's going to be about $1. That's a psychological shift in the market for XRP. So if you are familiar with this asset on a long-term chart, you also understand the fact that macro charts matter a lot. When we talk about that, the biggest question then becomes like, okay, when do I actually see a macro breakout? You got the macro breakout, you got the macro retest and a bounce. That's bullish. I mean, your measured move is still alive. For that breakout, you'll have a measured move of like 200%. Your breakout was here. So that plots kind of all the way close to 89 billion, which in market cap means you have another 130% move. So $1.5, $1.6 is what you're talking about. So you literally have the next leg up. Now, say you're not a pattern guy. You're more like a price structure guy for XRP. This range has been a support, resistance, and a support for an extended period of time in XRP. Right? You zoom out and you see that. Perfect. Now, that makes this range the range of accumulation for XRP. A lot of people have a hard time agreeing on the fact that XRP broke above its accumulation. It's now going through the reaccumulation phase. If I do the same for another asset and another segment of the market, a lot of people seems to be agreeing on the fact. Right, this was the accumulation. You had a breakout. Now, clearly, we'll just use the same strategy, same price structure analysis. So this is your accumulation. You're breaking through that. This is your reaccumulation. Great. So if that's true and it's breaking higher, what do you think is going to follow here in XRP? One of the primary thing I argue here is that, guys, watch. If the volume candle on a weekly for XRP shows you this, which if you want to literally put that into a clear number where you have been at that level before, you have to go back to 2021 level. You're going back 3 years. That's where you had this amount of buying volume. So if you're still bearish on this asset, I would strongly urge you to reconsider that position. Because by the time the price goes through $1 mark, you may not really have a huge ROI structure on this asset. If your average is at the accumulation region, like a lot of us in the SF family do have that, that's perfect, right? So if you put that in the price terms, your bottom is 0.3 and the breakout here for the accumulation range is like 0.5. Most of us are somewhat like this or below, 0.35 or below. That's a huge thing to watch. Now, what would be the price structure which you should look at? Before that, I would say look at the monthly. We made this argument clear in few videos. But the issue is, unless that materializes here, people won't believe. But once you do that, there is no point in believing or agreeing with those analysis. Now, while you stay there, and you understand that, okay, this is actually a continuation pattern. You had your range, you had your reaccumulation, you're trying to break through. Watch what the moving average on a monthly suggests. I mean, that's so easy, right? Because when the same happened here in last cycle, these assets went up. And if you do agree with the same analysis on Ether or Cardano or any other asset, even Bitcoin, then you don't have a choice. You'll also have to agree the same for XRP. Is it manipulated? Is there a lot of whales involved? Yeah, for sure. Maybe a lot of financial institutions too, because this is a life-changing technology. We all understand that. But with the breakout and the volume, what you and me have to do here is to understand that on a monthly, this is where you are at 55. It's just getting started. Say you go on a monthly for Cardano, you're at 58. You're just getting started. So the difference from 55 to 58 made a lot in price terms. You look at this first move, that breakout came here. Now, can XRP do that? Can there be a pop through this range of $1, $1.02? That is going to bring more attention into the market, because on a weekly, we talked about this, I don't know for how long, because that was the truth in the market. That's still the reality of the market, right? You're watching this. You want to come back up. So are we there yet? Yeah, kind of. We are now at that range we would like to see as the price support resistance zone turning into the support, breaking back down. Yeah, this range is so attractive. Last time this happened, the price action was showing you somewhat like this. That was not a bad deal. You had all these choppy sessions, you went back up, you came back down, then you went back up. That's where we got like a 5-6x movement in XRP without all these exchanges participating in XRP. So for XRP on a macro, this does look really attractive. Now, what if it's a wave structure that you're looking at? What if it's the measured move that you're talking about? The numbers go big. And as of now, those numbers would just feel hype. But yeah, compared to the $1,000, $10,000 guys, this wouldn't feel like a hype, because it kind of is directly staying close to $18, $16 to $22 range, or say $18 as an average. So you have a cup and handle, you have the measured move, you go that way, cool. Now, if you're staying on a different path, saying, maybe this is wave 3 in this asset. Maybe this is the 1, this is the 2, and this is the 1 for the 3, and you're going to do the second wave here. Now, that wave 2 is what we are waiting. If that takes you towards $20, great. $18, fine. You need to understand where big guys are exiting, and that information should aid your exits. This is something I always say. If you do see negative divergence on a weekly, don't think much. Look at the monthly. If the monthly at that time was in the overbought region, you don't want to take a lot of risk at that time. Historically speaking, you are at a point of a bubble territory. Now, you don't know how high it can go from there, but the only thing which is sure is that the risk is substantially higher than the reward structure which you're looking at. So your downside is too big compared to your upside. That's where you go for the best risk-adjusted return. And that's one of the reasons why SI family has been so strong. We've been doing very good in the trade bag. Now we're doing really fine in the long-term bags. One of the reasons is that we're trying to balance the risk. And we are watching that the market is pushing higher. Yes, there has been a lot of big guys who've been calling the top from what? 40,000, 45,000, 50,000 up to this time. I say, unless the market show you the top, we don't call the top. Maybe I'm wrong, because the market kind of stretched it to the upside. The market is right. At the end of the day, we are all wrong if we try to pick the top. But now, if you do see negative divergence forming on a 3-day, on a daily, you have to keep an eye on that, because usually what follows after such an increase in price without an increase in the RSI is a corrective leg to the downside. Remember, in the Bitcoin dominant side, we had the argument before saying, guys, watch, maybe I'm wrong, but the moment XRP broke higher, I was like, most likely what's going to happen here is such a move. Now, when I said that, we were still here, near 54. Now we came back down. That allowed some of these altcoins to run higher. These are the opportunity windows you're looking at. Now, what next? If you don't break this to the downside, you're going to bounce back up. So you may look like this. You come down, you bounce back up. So the Bitcoin dominance goes back up. Each time we have seen this, Bitcoin had a micro rally. So there can be a trappy move, a little bit of wick, and then a bounce, if that's happening here. If that's breaking to the downside, you're watching something which is corrective. But, we'll have to zoom in on this stuff at this point because you don't have any other option. If you do see the prices respecting each level of resistance turned into a support, you don't have much of a choice. That's what the market is showing you. If it's breaking this level and coming back down, okay, now it's serious. It's slowing down. Whether those people who sell you $1 million Bitcoin story is right or wrong, I would say follow what the market says. Because if the market is showing you a sign like this, it's a 4-hour chart, not a weekly chart, not a daily chart, not a 3-day chart, for sure, it's true. But then you also have to understand this is what the price action is showing you. This has been a trend line kind of a thing which we were following from a long time. So you had the breakout, you went all the way up, now you're staying above this. Can you really bounce higher from here? Maybe it's possible. But for us, our job is to look at the market and see what the market is trying to say. Say, for example, here you had the market trying to show you a double top. Here, maybe I'm wrong, but if the market is showing you this, maybe I'm saying utter nonsense here. But I see a possibility like this, and I'm asking myself, if that's a possibility, what are you looking at in the price action? How much do you think this price is going to drop? And how do you think the alt market is going to react when the Bitcoin dominance goes down? This is the story which we have been discussing, right? While the Bitcoin had these wild 20, 25, 30% drops, altcoins were doing extremely fine. Yes, they had the corrective leg, but they were doing something like this, moving up. Yes, they are having these corrections after each run up, but they are literally trending to the upside. Follow that. If you're going up and you're slowing down here and breaking that structure, now you have something wrong there. On the bullish side, meaning you have something wrong. You're going to the corrective leg. So unless this happens, you don't have to panic because it can bounce back up. It can still follow the structure with a little bit more of a accumulation or a reaccumulation at that point, right? So guys, if you received value, smash that like button. And if you would like to join the SI family to get all of these calls to make these returns yours, look at the Scientific Investor family. The link is given in the description below in YouTube or in the bio in Twitter. 1,000+ members are there enjoying the benefits of what I do. I hope you guys get to use that for next 2-3 months and make the most out of this bull market. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.